Mistake number 2 on your NG2 practical project.
I'm so sorry, but my wife has made a mistake.
Your risk assessment does not recommend sufficient control measures to bring you into legal compliance. Now remember, once you've done your risk assessment and you've introduced all of the control measures that you recommend on the risk assessment, you should be legally compliant. Otherwise, well, your risk assessment just isn't very good, is it? It's not what we call suitable and sufficient. So let's have a look at an example or a couple of examples of where people have gone wrong with this. On this example here, we've got a student in a factory where they have CNC machines, basically they're kind of like robots, computer numerically controlled routers, not routers, and they are cutting holes in timber boards. And they've made a number of they've noted the various control measures. We've got local exhaust ventilation, we've got health surveillance, we've got sweeping, training, air quality testing, exposure monitoring, pre-use checks, and some maintenance on the local exhaust ventilation. And they have recommended some vacuum cleaners and some additional training. And this delegate failed because they haven't mentioned a legally required control measure when we have local exhaust ventilation. If we remember our course materials, let's have a look here. This is element 7, chemical and biological agents. We've got a section on local exhaust ventilation, and there's a whole section here talking about the inspection requirements of LEV. And it says under the cost regulations, and it quotes the cost regulations here, it says in the case of local exhaust ventilation plant, at least once every 14 months. What is it? We have to do a thorough examination and testing of the local exhaust ventilation every 14 months. It's a very specific legal requirement. It is not mentioned anywhere on that risk assessment, and therefore it's entirely plausible that the organisation isn't doing it or is not going to do it in the future.
Well, I didn't do it. Well, one of us did.
And therefore the examiner goes, I'm sorry, but you failed. So what this delegate had to do was they had to wait for the next registration window to open, register, pay the money, wait for the submission period to open, submit, wait another, how long? 8 weeks, 10 weeks, however long it takes to get the result, and just lost time, lost money. And all they had to do was type in, introduce thorough examination and testing of the LEV systems every 14 months, and then maybe add in a suitable time frame. So we'll start that in a month, maybe get them tested in a month's time, and we'll get the HSE manager to arrange that, or the maintenance manager, or whoever it is.